be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Suzanne Mazars. I'm the music director here, and I have your announcements for the coming week. Lots of announcements today. Spirit choir rehearsals happen every Monday night from 7 to 9. If you're interested in joining our choir, you're hearing them today, please come talk to me after service. And the Spirit Choir is also inviting you, if you are interested, to join us tomorrow night from 7 to 9. We have a vocal coach coming in, Erwan Noble from Guelph, to work with us on vocal production and singing and hear our voices a little bit. If you would like a free workshop on vocal technique, you're welcome to join us and observe the class tomorrow from 7 to 9. This afternoon, we are hosting Jane Lewis and myself a circle music workshop, which is improvised singing, music in the moment. You're all welcome, no matter what your singing background is. It's really bring the voice you have and make music together. That's today from 3 to 5, and we do that once a month. On most Wednesday evenings, Christina Keel, who's here in the front, leads Hatha Yoga class from 7:30 to 9 p.m. If you're interested in joining for yoga, please come talk to her after service. And our current show in the art galleries ends today. Thank you to our artists and curator Lauren. The show of Beloved Community, Flowers in Winter, and Sitting with Abstraction. Next week, the reception for the new show, Observing Land's Transformation. The reception, it'll be up next week, and the reception is happening after service, and it is up just for a month until the end of March. So take advantage of seeing some new pieces. It looks like maybe some new pieces already. No? Yeah? No? Yes. Okay. We are excited for our first intergenerational service of the year, happening on March 3rd. Hi, Julia. Did you want to tell us more about the intergenerational service that's happening? Can you use this one? Oh, there we go.
Okay. Yeah, so it's happening in 2 weeks' time, and it's a service on the wisdom of children. And it's going to follow some of our regular service structure, but expect a bit of the unexpected. And I know that you are an open and curious bunch of people, so bring that openness and curiosity to our special service. And I have to thank Tony and Peter for the background for this. We do have cards, Tony, right, available over there on the table in the cappuccino room, and at the front table for people to grab on your way out. And we just wanted to personalize it, so give it to a friend, family, put your own personal stamp on it, do a picture, I don't know, write a little something, and give it to friends and family. Thank you.
Thanks. That service is happening 2 weeks from today. Did you know our contract minister, Reverend Pat Trudeau, is available for pastoral care? You can reach out to her on a confidential basis to discuss issues that you are seeking spiritual guidance on. To reach her, email at minister@nuuc.ca. We have headsets, not like mine. Mine's with the microphone. Yours is just for listening, speakers that will connect you directly with the sound that is coming through our microphones, right directly into your ears. It's like the presenters and musicians are right next to you. If you would like to use our hearing devices, just check in with Jo at the sound desk, and she'll give you one. 2024 Sharing Commitment Campaign. I think Lauren wants to come up for this. Come on up. The numbers are starting to roll in. Thank you to the 26 members that have made a point of sharing their funds. We are at 33,233, which is not yet halfway. Please fill out a form, and Lauren, tell us more.
Okay, good morning. She just said half of my speech, so that'll make it shorter. Okay, so yeah, only about a third of people have actually shared this year with neighborhoods. That means 2/3 haven't, so that might be some of you in this audience. And it doesn't have to just be members. We take money from pretty much anybody. So friends, visitors, neighbors. If you feel camaraderie, welcomed, and at home here, and this place makes you feel comfortable, then please do a sharing commitment this year, a monetary commitment towards the livelihood of neighborhood to help pay our staff. That's a really key element. Pay our CUC fees, and to keep us in snacks and candles. Members volunteer their time and effort, and we absolutely appreciate that, but we cannot keep our doors open with just volunteers. We need to have financial backing as well. Without this sharing, we must dip into our capital funds, and at the rate of spending, unless we increase our membership to 200 strong, we will eventually deplete that money and no longer be able to be open. I want neighborhood to survive and thrive forever. I want to grow old here. Please sign the sharing form for whatever amount you think you can realistically afford on a weekly or monthly basis, and the Finance Committee, the board, and absolutely the staff appreciate your ongoing support. The sharing forms are prominently placed right by the snacks that Linda so lovingly creates every week. Please take a few minutes to fill out a form and place it in the red sharing box. I don't want to ask individually, but I will if we don't get the numbers that we need. And I'm going to bring a brute force with me. No,
Wow.
I'm not going to. Thank you, Lauren. This is where we're at.
Thanks, Lauren, for your love for this community. If you have not received your anticipated tax receipt from Neighborhood, you can contact our office administrator, Hala, at office@nuuc.ca, and she will be sure to get one to you, whether that's mailing it or picking up a paper copy here. And again, thank you for all your donations to Neighborhood. New members are joining. Orientation sessions for potential new members are happening the next 2 Sundays after service at 12:30. We're calling that Getting Acquainted, to get an overview of UU history and beliefs, and to meet other new folks and existing members. Then the following March 10th, and then the first Sunday of April, hosting Getting Connected with NUUC. So once you've found out about UUs, you can learn about how to get involved here through activities, programs, and the different teams and committees here, and learn about the process for becoming a member. Our next joining ritual is scheduled for April 28th. For more info, you can speak to Christina, Chair of Membership, or David, who I don't think is here today. Other David. Our question to the community for this Sunday morning is, how has your understanding of love or beloved community changed over time? We're looking at the theme of beloved community this month, and we'll be posing this question to you following Rev Lynn's message of inspiration today. Next Sunday is February 25th, following our theme of beloved community. Our message is, maybe we should stop for directions. Our speaker is Rev Danielle, music provided by Sam and Jen. Our service weaver will be Jillian Newcomb, and Time for All Ages with Julia Thompson.
We welcome you to our Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. Thank you for joining us, whether you're here with us in person or joining us virtually via Zoom. My name is Peter Marmorek, and it's my privilege to be your service weaver this morning. We start this time by being present, by letting go of everywhere that isn't here and every when that isn't now. To start today's service, we cast a sacred space, and I invite you to join me in doing that by reading our invocation together. Let us cast a circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast a circle of a cherished space here, a space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. And our chalice today will be lit by Rev Lynn.
Prelude this morning is a piece called I Choose You. The text comes from Rabbi Rami Shapiro and was originally written for a wedding ceremony. I choose you this day to love and confide in, to hold on to and reach out from. I choose you this day to believe in and share with, to learn from and grow with. I choose you this day to give you my heart. And musician Jason Shelton heard these words and wanted to reimagine them instead of as wedding vows, as vows to our own communities. What if we chose our communities to be the place of love, to learn from, to grow with, to believe in, to share with, to confide in, to hold on to reach out from? So I invite you, as we're singing this, to hold the community in your thoughts. And a special thank you to Laura Thomas, who is accompanying the choir this morning. I choose you.
Thank you, Spirit Choir. As we gather today, we acknowledge the land, the people, and all beings, animate and inanimate, as well as our ancestors. This place has been a place of communities coming together for well over 1,500 years, as the territory of the Wendat, the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit. As people of diverse backgrounds and beliefs, we stand on this ground with both humility and responsibility. We recognize that our presence here is part of a complex history, one that is still unfolding. We commit to learning from and honoring the wisdom of Indigenous peoples who have stewarded this land for generations. And now we continue in this sacred and acknowledged space. Neighborhood's musical director is Suzanne Mazars. Our director of lifespan learning is Julia Thompson. Our contract minister is the Reverend Pat Trudeau, and our guest speaker and guest musician is Rev Lynn Harrison. Our Zoom tech today is Mark Tim, and our AV person is Joe Strykowski. And that's the part of the iceberg that we see, but there's many, many more people who contribute to making today's service happen, and we give thanks to all of them. Unitarian Universalists are open to many beliefs, and we learn from many traditions. Here at Neighborhood, we define our mission as being to empower spiritual growth and shared action, both for the care of the world. We welcome you, whether you're looking for a spiritual home or for a loving community. Should you be here for the first time, a particular welcome. Please stay after the service to talk. You can take a red mug. You'll find they work equally well, either for tea or coffee, and we'll know you're interested in talking to us about Neighborhood. As our services vary from week to week, coming back for several will give you a better understanding of who we are and what we do. Our theme this month is Beloved Community, and today, as you know, we'll be hearing Reverend Lynn talk about being bewitched, bothered, and beloved. Beloved community, a popular UU concept, is sometimes thought of as being a loving commune in which we all love and support each other and problems never arise. Now, if you're here for the first time, I hate to give it away, but this isn't such a place. On the other hand, nowhere is. I've known, as I know many of you have, people who've left this congregation because they felt it wasn't a completely safe place. But there's no place that is, and that's not what a beloved community is. The key is that beloved community isn't a noun, it's a verb. It's an ongoing process. Because beloved community happens when we take the opportunity to do our own interior work. The people here, as everywhere, with whom we don't get along are the people who are essential in that work. Hermann Hesse, author of Steppenwolf and Siddhartha, said, "If you hate a person, then you hate something of them that is part of yourself." That part of yourself that we hate, and we all have it, is called in Jungian psychology the shadow. It's all that we don't want to, can't admit into our conscious self. All the qualities and tendencies within us which have been repressed, denied, or just not used. Ursula Le Guin said, paralleling Hesse, "The shadow not admitted to consciousness is projected outward onto others." The shadow not admitted to our own consciousness gets projected out onto others. So as we work on creating a beloved community, getting along better with people we dislike, tolerating the irritations that always arise within community, welcoming strangers who at first seem different, we are working on ourselves as well. People have asked me, if UUs don't have any kind of creed that you all believe in, how can you encourage spiritual growth? And the answer is, by working to love each other, we work towards loving ourselves, and that is real spiritual growth. And now is the time to practice loving our community by greeting your neighbors. And remember to turn to the camera on the back wall and offer a greeting to those joining us virtually. Suzanne will sound a chime to end. Now take a moment and greet your neighbors.
Hi.
Me.
Hi, Gail. Looking good.
Hello, everyone.
Morning.
And there's a
Hello,
few.
Hannah.
Hi,
Hello,
Annalyn.
Nancy.
Nancy.
Hi,
Dee
Gail.
Dee.
Hi, Dee Dee.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi,
Nice.
Sigrid.
Anna.
Yeah.
Susan, you're
Hi,
there.
Mark.
Doug,
You're on Zoom. And Doug.
Elaine.
I see that you're here.
Mark and Doug
Sort of. Lynn
Hi, Gail.
and
and
Houston.
Doug
Lynn.
and Mark
Hi.
Yeah.
Doug
And Dee Dee.
Good
and
morning.
Yes.
Susan. Hello.
Suzanne.
Hi, Mark.
How good and how pleasant it is for people to live together. We're going to sing Hine Matov, which is a Jewish folk round. I will go over the text with you to start. So I'll say a phrase, you say it back. And note, although it looks different on the screen, it's the same lyrics in the first half and the second. So don't let that spacing on the screen throw you off. It's the same. So, Hine Matov. Umaynaim. Hine Matov umaynaim. Yeah. Shevet Ahim. Gam Yachad. Shevet Ahim Gam Yachad. Okay, we'll teach you the tune for the first half. So first line goes, Hine matov umaynaim. Let's try that. Hine matov umaynaim. And then it sounds, Shevet ahim gam yachad. Shevet ahim gam yachad. Let's put all that together. Hine matov umaynaim, shevet ahim gam yachad. And that repeats. Hine matov umaynaim, shevet ahim gam yachad. The tune for the second half sounds, Hine matov. Let's try that. Hine matov, shevet ahim gam yachad, shevet ahim gam yachad. Let's put all that together. Hine matov, shevet ahim gam yachad. And again. Hine matov, shevet ahim gam yachad. You sound wonderful, like you've done this before. So how I'd like to present the song, if we could rise, please, and choir too. We're going to sing the whole thing through once all together. And then we're going to split you in half and try it as a round. This half of the choir, from here over, is going to be responsible for this half of the room. And they're going to turn to face you and keep you on track. And you'll start. And then this half of the room will be with this half of the choir. And they will turn to face you, and you'll be singing with them. So we'll sing it once all the way through. Then group one will start. When group one gets to the second half of the song, group two will start. What could go wrong? Nothing's going to go wrong. Whatever happens, it's going to be beautiful. It's really a beautiful song. How good it is and how pleasant for people to dwell and live together. Here we go. Hine matov umaynaim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine matov umaynaim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine harmony together on Sunday morning. Thank you, everyone.
What does it mean?
How good it is and how pleasant for us to live together.
Hello, this is the time for all ages, and I see we have some kids, so welcome. So this story that I'm going to tell you is why the evergreen keeps its needles all winter, just in case you've ever wondered. This question is going to be answered for you. It was winter, and it was very cold, and many of the birds had flown south to where it was nice and warm to wait until spring. But there was one little bird that could not fly because it had broken its wing. And it didn't know what to do. It looked around for shelter, and then it saw the trees of the great forest. "Maybe I can find some shelter among the trees," said the bird. So it hopped and fluttered until it came to the first tree. The first tree was a silver birch. "Oh, beautiful birch tree, will you give me shelter among your branches until spring?" said the little bird. "Sorry," said the birch, "but if you stay in my branches, you will mess up my leaves." So the little bird hopped and skipped until it came to the next tree, and it was an oak, a stately ancient oak. "Oh, beautiful oak tree, will you let me stay in your branches until spring?" said the little bird. "Well, if I let you stay in my branches," said the oak, "you will end up eating many of my acorns. Less acorns equals less oak trees." Well, the little bird hopped and skipped and fluttered until it came to the next tree, and it was a weeping willow. "Oh, beautiful weeping willow," said the bird, "will you give me shelter until spring in your warm branches?" "Sorry," wept the willow, "but no, I can't. And you know what? I never talk to strange birds, even if they're small and wounded. Sorry." So the little bird hopped and fluttered. It didn't know what to do. But a pine had seen what had happened, and it said, "Little bird, would you like to take shelter in my branches? I have a nice warm branch right here for you, and you're welcome to stay all winter until spring." So the little bird hopped onto the branch, and then a spruce who had heard the conversation said, "I'm not very strong, but I can shelter you from the wind," because the spruce was growing right next to the pine. And a juniper tree, who was growing nearby, said, "Little bird, you can have my berries all winter. Juniper berries are very good for little birds." So the little bird felt so warm and secure in the shelter of the pine, protected by the spruce, and eating the berries from the juniper tree. The other trees who were nearby had remarked upon this, and the oak said, "I wouldn't give away my acorns." And the silver birch said, "I wouldn't talk to any strange bird, and I wouldn't want my leaves to get messed up." And the weeping willow said, "Yes, I never talk to strange birds either, and no, even if they're small and wounded." So they stood up very tall and proud. But that night, the north wind blew with its icy breath. It came to play, and it puffed at the leaves, and they fell to the ground. And it was just about to puff its icy breath at the spruce and the pine and the juniper tree, but it stopped, and it said, You trees are needed for you may keep your needles because you will provide shelter and food to other animals and birds and even humans. So the pine, the spruce, and the juniper kept their needles all winter, and they have done so ever since to this day. The end. Thank you.
The choir wants to share with you a piece called Vem kan segla. We're singing in Swedish, although the song does come from a Swedish-speaking area of Finland. The translation of what we'll be singing is, "Who can sail without the wind? Who can row without oars? Who can leave a parting friend without shedding tears? I can sail without the wind. I can row without oars, but I can't leave a parting friend without shedding tears." So a song to the power of friendship. Rise, please.
I invite you now into a time of meditation, contemplation, or prayer. I'll guide us through a meditation for a few minutes, and then we'll have a time of silence, and I'll bring us together again with the singing bowl. Find a comfortable way of sitting, perhaps resting your feet on the ground or noticing the weight of your body in the chair, noticing how the earth is supporting you in this present moment. If you like, you may close your eyes or just let your gaze rest in soft focus. Take a moment to breathe deeply. And as you breathe, begin by picturing a circle or perhaps a thread that connects all the parts of your body, as well as all the sensations and emotions that you experience, whether they are pleasant or unpleasant. Take a moment to sense this thread connecting all parts of you. Then imagine it expanding to include your closest family members and friends. Imagine this circle embracing them, whether they are presently close to you, and even if they are no longer living. Now imagine that the circle or thread expands to include the people sitting next to you in this space, and then extends to encompass all of the people in this room. You might picture an elastic thread that continues to expand, or a circle multiplying to create a net embracing all. From there, expand your awareness to include everyone in this city and all activities and feelings and experiences that take place here, the desirable ones as well as the undesirable. Picture all of these included in the radiant circle or circle of circles, which continues to extend outward. As this luminous circle expands even further, it now embraces all of the country that is called Canada, all of the nations and peoples within it, growing larger still to include all of Turtle Island or North America. As the net continues to widen and expand to include all of the people and places of the world, both the peaceful places, but also the places where there is intense conflict and suffering, such as Gaza and Ukraine, and including as well all corners of the human heart where ignorance, hate, or violence reside. We pause now to behold the mystery of how these threads can connect all things and beings and experiences on earth, and we see that the circle can expand much, much further, reaching out to all of the stars and planets. We see now that the circle is one shining net of interconnection, an infinite net of interconnection, and that it is alive and strong. Holding these beautiful circles within circles within circles in our awareness, we simply take a few more moments to breathe and rest in the embrace of the circle of life. and I welcome you back. Beloved community. What a beautiful phrase. Over the past several weeks, you have heard many insightful reflections on this important concept, some of which I will refer to today, perhaps bringing in a few additional angles. Beloved community. Be loved community. It sounds so lovely, doesn't it? Who wouldn't want to be beloved in community? What's not to like? Well, as others this month have suggested, it may be a more challenging concept than we realize, and yet it is one I believe we can grow into. So let us continue to reflect on beloved community so that it may become more than simply an alluring phrase and guide our lives more and more meaningfully each day. There's an old song called Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. It was written in the late 30s and recorded by Ella Fitzgerald. Perhaps you recall, I'm wild again, beguiled again, a simpering, whimpering child again. Exactly, exactly. In striving toward beloved community, how are we bewitched, bothered, and bewildered before becoming beloved? In recent services, both Melina Bondi and Moira MacDonald shared reflections on the origins of the term beloved community. Originating with the Harvard philosophy professor Hosea Royce, it was then popularized by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and deepened as a result of his friendship with the Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. In the understanding of these two wisdom teachers and social justice leaders, beloved community was another expression of interbeing, the inseparable connection between all living things, calling us toward deeper compassion and care for all others in the world. Even though many Unitarians today have heard the term beloved community used in this expansive way, we also frequently hear it used to describe the smaller circles of community that are closer to home. Indeed, it is only through our practice of being with one another in small groups and learning and growing in these contexts that we have any hope of creating the beloved community of all beings. So let's think about that circle of community that we find in Unitarian Universalist life. In many UU congregations, when people talk about beloved community, we often are referring to the congregation to which we belong, the group of people that we've joined with and committed to in a spiritual community brought together by principle. In an essay entitled Messy, Imperfect, Beloved Community, the UU minister, Reverend Lila Ibrahim, writes, "At my best, as a religious person, as a Unitarian Universalist, and as a member of this First Unitarian Church of Oakland, I am called to love whoever else walks through these doors. I don't need to like everyone. Not everyone is one I would choose as a friend. Not everyone agrees with what we are here to do, but if I'm living up to my best values, I offer care and respect and commitment to each member, friend, and guest of my beloved community." Again and again, she writes, we are all called to choose to commit ourselves to building a more just, more diverse, and yet ever more messy and imperfect beloved community. No matter which congregations we've belonged to, I think we can all relate to that description of messiness and imperfection and the challenge of offering inclusive welcome to everyone we encounter in congregational life. But how did we get here? How did we find our way into these communities, these relationships in the first place? Like me, you may have had the experience of falling in love with a community or a group of some kind. This could be a congregation, but it applies to many other groups as well. In much the same way that we become attracted or infatuated with another person, we can become bewitched by a group, completely captivated, even swept away by what we see as its wonderful qualities. You may have said to yourself or heard others say, "This group has everything I am looking for and absolutely nothing I dislike. I have found my people. I have found to whom I belong." You might have never heard the phrase, but you likely feel, "I have found my beloved community, the place where I will be loved." People who study group dynamics have identified several stages of group experience. One widely used theory was first proposed by Bruce Tuckman way back in 1965 in an article called "Developmental Sequence in Small Groups." His ideas have been widely used in understanding churches, community organizations, schools, many other groups, and likely you have heard about them yourselves. The 4 stages are forming, storming, norming, and performing. Instead of performing, some people have substituted reforming, which I find personally meaningful and which I will come back to. In 1977, the additional stage of adjourning or mourning, which of course goes with the other 4, was added as a necessary concluding stage for every group. In any case, the falling in love, bewitched part, well, that's the forming. This is a time of hope and excitement when people come together based on mutual attraction, a sense of kinship and shared goals. This attraction, especially when it's very strong, can also involve something called projection, which Peter spoke to earlier. That is when we cast our own inner qualities on our image of others, the qualities we may not even know we have. These positive qualities have been described as the bright shadow, in contrast to the shadow sides of ourselves that we would rather not see. In religious community, you can understand how this projection or infatuation stage can be extremely powerful. We project our deepest spiritual values and longings onto a group, investing that group with a sense of sacredness or even divine power, something that sounds beloved indeed. As the group continues to form, people work together and get to know one another. Entering into relationships in good spirit, people work hard to stay well-behaved and respectful. Yet anxiety and tension arise beneath the surface as we become more aware of our differences and our projections begin to fade. Conflict and power struggles can arise. We may wonder whether we made a mistake coming together in the first place. At first bewitched, we have become bothered and bewildered, which can become very uncomfortable. When Peter first heard my sermon title, Bewitched, Bothered, and Beloved, he had the very meaningful insight that bothered could be read as be othered, which is exactly what is going on here. When our beguiling projections fall away from our relationships, we understand that we are other with a capital O. We are called to love, or perhaps we could say provide unconditional welcome to the stranger that is our spouse, that is our fellow committee member, that is our longtime friend who has a different perspective on a political issue, to our child who is behaving in a way we find bewildering, and even to ourselves when we behave, as we all do at times, in ways that fall short of our desired image of ourselves. I really appreciated Melina Bondi's story a few weeks ago about finding themselves in conflict with another member of their Buddhist community. They reminded us of how uncomfortable, yet how essential it is to stay, to abide in that place of discomfort in order to sustain and nurture community. Difficult experiences of interpersonal conflict, which of course we all experience, reveal the importance as well of befriending the other within ourselves. The person who may say or do something or hold a certain attitude that falls short of our own image of who we are or who we want to be seen in the world. When we consider the circle of beloved community extending out to all beings in a radically inclusive way, we can also think of the inner community within ourselves, which includes not only the presences that we like and feel proud of, but also the ones that we react to with discomfort and may not like to admit are part of us. Returning, though, to the external frame of community groups, we've probably all observed that the storming stage is profoundly uncomfortable, and indeed, not every group survives it. When we think of beloved community in the context of Unitarian Universalist life, this is the point when we might be reminded of the concept of covenant. Seen through the lens of group development, this may be one way we move through the norming stage within our congregational settings. The way we move from the storming to the norming stage and ultimately performing of our congregational settings. We agree mutually to work together toward common goals. Our principles can help us hold our differences gently and stay committed to one another. Held in a spirit of love rather than rule or doctrine, our concept of covenant can help hold us together and carry us through the storms that are a normal and healthy part of human relationship. At the same time, I think it is always important to remember that our concept of covenant must never become a rigid form of promise-keeping. If it does, it can create a barrier to people who come to us for belonging and want to stay in this community. So we have to hold it with gentleness and love. It's useful perhaps to remember that our UU concept of covenant is a now distant cousin of the story of covenant found in the Hebrew Bible. It was a covenant not between members of a community, but rather between God and humanity, or perhaps God and life itself. Whether or not that story has meaning for you personally, it's clear that that concept of covenant, a universal covenant that could never be broken, is very different than the idea of making a promise to live according to a set of principles or to stay committed to a community. That covenant refers to an unbroken circle of love beyond naming, one that has inspired religious thought for millennia and has led to the creation of congregational groups like this one. As we find ourselves widening our congregational circles again and again, and sometimes stepping out of those circles because we are human, I find it helpful to recall the words of Rumi in a poem which became a beloved Unitarian hymn. Here's the full quote, which isn't in the hymn we all know. Some words are extra. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Come, yet again, come, come. This, it seems to me, describes the movement toward beloved community. The movement through the storm toward the reform, which is the word I prefer over perform, especially for congregational groups, because it points toward the possibility of transformation. The reformation of a community into something ever new and recreated, something which in its transformation mirrors the eternal recreation and relationship making that is the ongoing work of the Spirit of life, the love that never ends, the love that can also be framed as agape, as Moira shared with us last week, the love that extends far beyond our sense of the individualistic self and our personal wants and needs. It is in this spirit, I believe, that we can be transformed into people who take action in the name of justice, who listen open-heartedly to others to create spaces of dialogue, who extend care to all living things, who provide unconditional welcome to this life, here and now, in this moment. In each of the choices that we make to welcome the other that we encounter and to move faithfully through the stages of growth that call us, may we come, yet again come, back to the circle of love, the circle of beloved community that embraces us all. Thank you so very much for listening.
It's a mark of any good service or ritual that it's not just all coming from the front, but that we have participation, which is why we have the question to the community. And now we open it up for even more participation by having the offertory, where you get to participate in creating the beloved community in a financial sense. You've heard from people at the start of the service about why this is important and what we need the money for. The congregation is a living entity, and like all living entities, it needs to be fed, and finances is one of the ways in which you can help to feed it. So as we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our places within it. For those on Zoom, you can see the QR code or the URL through which you can contribute. For those of you in the congregation, our greeters will circulate with the baskets, and we ask you to be generous. Greeters, please hold on to the baskets until Lynn's song is over.
So as the offering is taking place, I think I'll just teach you. Is this a good idea to do it right as this is happening? Yeah, I'm still getting used to the patterns here, so you'll forgive me. This is a new song that was written back last fall, and I'm going to teach you the chorus so you can all sing along together, and the choir is going to join me as well. Maybe if we could just see the second slide there, which will provide the... So at the top, you'll see the chorus. full circle, all will come around. Full circle, all will come around. Full circle, back to sacred ground. Full circle, back to sacred ground. Full circle, love won't let us down. Full circle, love won't let us down. When we're one in the circle, we are home safe and sound. When we're one in the circle, we are home safe and sound. Great, let's go back to the very beginning. The other slide. There we go, thank you so much. This was inspired by words of T.S. Eliot, which are also in our hymn book. At the end of our exploring, we will come home to the place of a deeper way of knowing, full of meaning, love and grace. We'll come back to where we started, when our wandering all is done. Wide awake and open-hearted, we will know this world as one. Full circle, all will come around. Full circle, back to sacred ground. Full circle, love won't let us down. When we're one in the circle, we are home safe and sound. At the end of all our journeys, we will know this was enough. In the spiral ever turning, we will hold fast to this love as we trace the path of wisdom to the earth's deep sounding drum. In this time that we are given, we will know we all will come. Full circle, all will come around. Full circle, back to sacred ground. Full circle, love won't let us down. When we're one in the circle, we are home safe and sound. Full circle, all will come around. Full circle, back to sacred ground. Full circle, love won't let us down. When we're one in the circle, we are home safe and sound. When we're one in the circle, we are home safe, sound. Thank you so much for singing with me. It's been a pleasure to be with you this morning. Thank you.
If you have found love and acceptance here, if you have known kindred spirits here, if you've found a home here, then this offering is a token of your gratitude as together we work to build the common good. We have one more job for you, Lynn. If you could extinguish the chalice. And we sing with Suzanne. And I invite you to stand, to take one another's hand or shoulder or touch elbows, whatever you are comfortable with in these different times. I leave you with this blessing from John O'Donoghue. May there be kindness within your gaze as you look within. May you never place walls between the light and yourself. May you allow the wild beauty of the invisible world to gather you, mind you, and embrace you in longing. Our service is over. Go in love. Thanks. And thanks for the kind word. Thanks for the kind word.
Turning we shall learn to lead in